Hey, what's going on everybody, Gesha here and happy 2021. Don't worry, I will save you all of the cliches and just wish you a good and successful year. And now I don't want to waste anybody's time, so I'll get straight to the point. So GTA 5 is not a bad game, but it did make some weird decisions in certain aspects that can be seen as a downgrade compared to the previous installment in the series. So today, with the help of a few mods and some tweaks, we'll try to bring back all of the good stuff from GTA 4 into GTA 5. As always, all of the mods will be in the description under a pastebin link, plus additional instructions and annotations. And now, let's get into it. Starting with some small and simple features first, we'll be adding the GTA 4 vehicle style exit, where clicking F will leave the engine and headlights on, while holding the F key will turn them off as you exit your vehicle. Next we have the crouch mode that is pretty self-explanatory. You can assign it its own key or have it replace the stealth key instead. You're able to move around and shoot your weapons while you're crouching. Glowing pickups is going to add an emissive light to all pickups. For better results, I would also suggest to use the configuration file from immersive pickups that will add a nicer and more balanced glow. Real paramedics will finally make the paramedics useful and they will be able to actually revive people. Problem is that they revive everybody regardless if they have just been beaten up a little or have a hole in their head. Sadly, there's no way to configure that, but it's generally better than nothing and most of the time the script works perfectly fine. Parkour 4 is supposed to bring one of Nico's abilities, which is jumping from one ledge to another, which for some reason the GTA 5 protagonists lacked. Basically, when you press space to jump, you click space one more time and you'll climb up instead of falling down, but I personally just spam the space key. Working Burger Shot will require you to have installed the Burger Shot interior, which will also be in the mods list below, but when you have it, at least one of the game's restaurants won't be useless anymore and you can go in, buy yourself a meal and choose if you want to consume it or drop it. The restaurant is populated with people eating there and you can walk around and check it out for yourself. And speaking of food, we'll also bring back the possibility for buying hot dogs, which by the way was going to be a GTA 5 feature but was cut before the release of the game. Then we have two mods that you can choose from that extend the wasted screen until you decide to end it with a key that you've specified. Drunk 4 is more of a gimmick than a feature really. It brings back the balancing game when you get drunk. The problem is that you have to activate it yourself and it doesn't seem to work when you just get drunk in the normal way. The script by default is activated with the J key and will have you use the keys for moving around to keep your balance. Lastly, we'll actually be turning off a GTA 5 feature and it's the one that automatically explodes your vehicle when you crash. Now many vehicles from GTA 4 didn't make it to the current game, so thanks to 4-pack we can have a bunch of them back into GTA 5. I absolutely love the way they look and how more diverse are some areas with them. They have a fully working first-person view and functional dials. The problem with this mod was that you had to spawn the vehicles yourself. Otherwise, they were crashing the game when they were spawning in traffic on their own. So I kinda went ahead and fixed the mod myself, so you can enjoy some GTA 4 vehicles in your game as well. I've provided a new file in the mods list below, and without making any big promises, I'll try to keep it updated for as long as I can, or at least until the developers fix the mod themselves. But in the meantime, I really appreciate you supporting my efforts for these videos by maybe giving me a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for more. With that being said, the 4-pack vehicles will now spawn naturally in traffic or parked in their respective areas. In the countryside there's now a lot more beaten up vehicles, and in the city you'll be encountering some more average wheels as well as some fancier ones depending on the city region that you're in. Moving on then to GTA 4 handling, even though I've heard a lot of diverse opinions on it, most people seem to agree that it's generally better than GTA 5's one, which is very stiff. I tried a lot of different options and combinations here, but in the end nothing comes even close to classic handling. With it, vehicles will no longer feel like they're glued to the road and each feels and moves in a different way. Bigger vehicles like SUVs and some older beater cars are now a lot harder to drive, requiring you to slow down a lot more for turns and hit the brakes much earlier. This mod also includes the increased GTA 4 car body roll visible when making turns. Plus, it also increases vehicle deformation for better and more realistic impacts. So simply put, this handling is going to give you a bit of a challenge and you have to be a lot more involved into the whole driving process, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Just as with the handling, the ragdoll physics in GTA 5 were also too stiff. Now usually when it comes to Ragdoll physics I always recommend Rage Euphoria, but honestly the original Euphoria Ragdoll overhaul from 2015 is still the closest to GTA 4 that I've seen. This will of course come down to personal preferences, but in a lot of instances Rage Euphoria can still be very stiff. Rage Euphoria also tends to make some weird decisions like turning off the falling animation, which can look bad in certain situations, or overusing the grabbing feature, which can get aggravating at times since you have no control over it. But honestly speaking, both have strong sides and weak sides, so I'm just going to put it like this. If you want something more authentic, go with the original Euphoria Ragdoll overhaul from 2015, and if you want something more consistent and up to date, go with Rage Euphoria. For longer gunfights, I'll highly recommend to disable this animation right here, because it's the sole reason why a bullet to the foot is lethal in this game. Simply put, it's a weird game mechanic that whenever a pet falls to the ground, there is a very high chance for this animation to play, and when it does, it means automatic death regardless of how much health a pet has. Disabling it will allow for much longer gunfights, since pets can now just get up after falling to the ground. And for longer melee fights, Streets of Rage Brawling is going to overhaul the damage done by melee attacks, both for those with or without a melee weapon, so once again you can have lengthier fights. Some pets can now take a much longer beating, while others can still succumb after a short time. And finally, maybe in the optional section we have the push and shove mod. This one replaces the KO function, and instead, now when moving forward, clicking the left mouse button will do a pushing animation, and if you are running and do the same, you shove the pet in front of you. You can still do a normal melee attack if you are not moving forward. Moving on to some miscellaneous mods, we have less aggressive people and cops from crime and police rebalance and enhancement. It will allow you to stay next to people and police officers for longer before they get irritated by you. In comparison to GTA 4, it's not that GTA 5 lacks interiors, but unlike the previous game, here they are only made available to you during missions and then never again. So using something like open interiors will fix that. And if you want, you can of course add some other GTA 4 interiors to the game as well. And onto the extra stuff, we can add the man himself, Niko Bellic, who can be thoroughly customized. Literally every part of him can be altered in some way. Also, if you would like to use him in story mode, or if you just want him to be able to buy stuff and pretty much do everything else that the main protagonist can, you also need the character swap mode. It's activated with the F8 key, and from the menu you should choose whoever of the three main characters you want. This way we're tricking the game into thinking that you're still playing with one of them. Otherwise there won't be much you can do in the game world. And then if you want, you can add the GTA 4 footstep sounds, the bullet holes textures, and some of these buggy weapons. I've specified which ones are less buggy. At last, if you want to feel the full spirit of GTA 4, you might want to change the weather to something like foggy or overcast, with maybe a bit of rain before that, so we get that moody atmosphere. And with that, we're done. Now I'll leave you with some gameplay, and I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy!
Whatever, dude. Hey. Fuck this.
Whatever.
This one's gonna be tough. It's okay. Can't wait till my shift is over.
You're
What's up?
That just depresses me.
Hey man, what can I get you?
We should go to the dungeon crawler. All the celebs go there.
trippy.
You need help or you...
Ah, these Spanish! Oh God, please! Don't, I'm begging you! Don't do that!
Crazy, all right? Oh hell! leaving from here.
救命啊！